welcome to iasorigin. Today we'll be talking about one nation, one election. One election for both center and the state government. Recently, our former president, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, has chaired a meeting which will be discussing about one nation, one election. A committee has been set up to discuss over the issue and tell whether it is feasible for India to adopt it or not. So today we'll be discussing in detail about it. Before starting onto our topic, I would like to tell you that you can enroll with iasorigin for prelims cum mains preparation, where you'll be getting live classes, one-to-one mentorship session, unlimited recorded access, which you can access at any time, and also the personalized strategy plan, which will make your preparation easy. So let's begin with our topic. What is one nation, one election? It aims to synchronize. Synchronize means simultaneously holding elections. When the elections are being held for central government or the Lok Sabha, at the same time the elections will be held for Vidhan Sabha or the state assembly together. This is the concept. This is not something new. It was already in practice till 1967. 1952 के elections की बात की जाए या 57 की बात की जाए, 62, 67, all these elections were held under this scheme where simultaneous elections were held out. But what happened? Why this is not in practice? Let's see. When earlier, suppose this is center's timeline and this is state assembly's timeline. In 1952, both the elections were held together. Then the other elections, seeing to the 5-year term, were to be held in 1957. Another 5-year term, we see at 1962, and then another 5-year term at 1967. But what happened in between, that this synchronization got broke. So the reason is invocation of emergency. Now, in 1959, Kerala में president's rule लगाया गया. Now it is being said that when the state assembly dissolves, 6 महीने के अंदर दोबारा इलेक्शंस कराए जाते हैं. So in 1959 जब यहाँ पर केरला की असेंबली डिसॉल्व हो गई थी, now what to do? Kerala got out of synchronization. Similarly, in 1967, it happened with Haryana. Haryana came out of the synchronization. Then in 1968, Assam and Punjab. Then in 68 and 70, UP. All these states got off the synchronization. There's a difference of timeline to the elections of the center and the state assembly. So let's discuss in detail. Is this particularly possible now in the present times? So let's see the pros associated with it. The pros are reduction in the cost of conducting election. It is estimated that around 60,000 crore rupees were spent in 2019 Lok Sabha election. This is such a huge amount. This amount was spent for Lok Sabha elections alone. Similarly, election campaigning is done for the state assembly elections. There also a huge amount is spent. If we synchronize the elections, simultaneously held करने लगे, campaigning single time होगी, 5 साल में एक बार, दोनों के लिए, लोक सभा के लिए भी, state assemblies के लिए भी. This would reduce the cost involved in the election processes, in the campaigning, in the advertisement, in the promotions. So this is one of the pros. And then is the continuity in the policy decisions. Now continuity here is whenever the elections are announced by the election commission, then model code of conduct comes into operation. When model code of conduct is in operation, no new policies are announced. अब साल भर में देश में कहीं ना कहीं इलेक्शन चलते रहते हैं. हर 3 महीने में कहीं ना कहीं इलेक्शन होते हैं. Be it in some state or the other state, then comes the central election. So all the time elections are there. यहाँ पे एक void create हो जाता है. The policies are not implemented during that particular time. Now, if simultaneously you will keep the elections, then that void will not be created. वो एक particular time का void होगा, उस 5 साल में एक बार. बार बार आपकी policy decisions delay नहीं होंगे. There will be a continuity in the policy. This is another positive of it. And there is the ease in the burden on the administrative and security forces. Whenever the elections are held, so much of security forces applied to keep a check on malpractices. Along with it, huge administrative cost. All the officers, manpower, such is involved. So the human labor is also involved. The time is involved. The money is involved. All this would be reduced to a greater extent. Then is the increase in the voter turnout. This is one of the important provisions. Suppose you are living in Delhi working over there, but you are a home resident of Uttar Pradesh. Whenever there will be election, you will have to go to Uttar Pradesh, all the way travel there and then cast your vote. When there are different elections held at different times, we usually avoid. But when simultaneously that will be held, then people will definitely take out the time and cast their vote. All the people who try to avoid it, they may go at once and cast the vote at their place for both the center as well as the state. This would definitely increase the voter turnout. And then is the government can focus more on governance rather than election mode. Now, whenever there is an election, be it in state, सेंट्रल में इलेक्शन नहीं है, स्टेट में इलेक्शन हो रहा है, बट स्टिल फ्रॉम द हेड ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, सेंट्रल मिनिस्टर्स से लेके स्टेट मिनिस्टर्स से लेके चीफ मिनिस्टर से लेके पब्लिक, all are involved in that particular state election. That becomes a national agenda. All our TV channels are opened with those election newses. So here everyone is engrossed in it. So government can focus on policies instead of these election propaganda time and again. So these were some of the pros which will come into effect if one nation, one election is there. Now let's see on to the other side. What are the cons associated with it? Now it is changed in the constitutional and legal framework. Now this is not an easy task. Many amendments will have to be brought about. Amendment to Representation of People's Act, amendment to the procedure of Lok Sabha, amendment to the procedure and conduct of business of State Assembly, as well as some amendments in the Constitution, which is a cumbersome process and not so easy to be implemented. So this is a major issue. Another is regional issue might get overshadowed by the national issues. When both elections will be held, then there is a probability that some of the regional issue जो कि छोटी importance का है but उस particular state है, उस particular region के लिए बहुत immense importance है, that may get overshadowed because of the bigger issue जो national picture में रहते हैं. This is one of the major drawbacks because in this way growth of particular states will be at stake and this can lead to even lopsided development in our country. Then comes Article 83 and Article 172 provides for the tenure of Lok Sabha. This talks about the tenure of Lok Sabha and this talks about the tenure of State Assembly. It is said that its tenure is 5 years unless dissolved. Now, if State Assembly gets dissolved, what will be done? Again, the synchronization is lost, just like it happened in the past during the 1967. So that will again be a problem. Then come the legal challenges. As I talked about, amendments in Representation of People's Act and other acts. Okay, then it is against the federalism. This is an important concept. When we in India follow union of states, हम federal structure को follow करते हैं, where states have their own say and central government has their own say, then why one single election? In this way, you are converting our status from federalism to unitary, which is wrong. Also, the amendment which will be brought under Article 368 to implement this requires 2/3 majority along with half of the states ratification. Along with half of states ratification, at least 14 states का ratification चाहिए होगा, तब जाकर ये implement हो पाएगा. And this is not at all easy to get it approved by half of the states and also getting 2/3 majority in the Lok Sabha, which is quite difficult to get it. Apart from that, it is feasible for Indian polity or not. Let's see on to it. The present situation. Now, in present also, there is lack of synchronization. Rajasthan MP की बात की जाए तो वहाँ की state assemblies have already completed their tenure. 2023 elections will be held. When it will come to Haryana and Maharashtra, 2024 में election होने हैं. बिहार एंड दिल्ली 2025, पंजाब, हिमाचल, गुजरात की बात की जाए तो recently elections हुए थे and the government would continue up to 2027. Now the question is, if you are implementing one nation, one election, what changes will be made? Now, what will be the process undertaken to synchronize these? इनका timeline बढ़ाया जाएगा to merge them with the central election of 2024? Or the timeline of these state assemblies will be decreased to merge them with 2024 election? What will be the method that will be undertaken? This is something to be considered about. Also, constitutional amendments in Article 83, 85, 172, 173 and 356 will be required. 356 talks about the president's rule. Okay, so all these constitutional amendments will be required, which I said is not easy because half of the states ratification is required. So this is quite a difficult process. India is not the only country which is thinking to implement this scheme. There are many countries which follow this scheme, be it Belgium, be it Sweden. US की बात की जाए तो कुछ हद तक follow होता है. But when it comes to India, India needs its own model of one nation, one election. Definitely it is a good step, but we need to adopt it according to the situation of the Indian polity, where at least 6 national parties, so many regional parties and other unregistered parties are there. Owing to the huge diversity of India, we need to develop our own model which will be suitable for our India. I hope you liked the video. Do like and comment, and for more such videos, do subscribe to our channel IAS Origin. Thank you.